All right, let's unpack this. Today, we're diving deep into a piece of tech that's, well, it's really opening up a whole new world for people, the Minelab Equinox 800 metal detector.
Yeah, it's a popular one.
Definitely. So, if you've just unboxed one, or maybe you're thinking about adding it to your gear, this deep dive is for you.
That's right. Our goal today is to cover pretty much everything you need to know. We're talking assembly, initial setup,
The basics.
right. But then really getting into its powerful settings, how to understand them, how to adapt them for different terrains you might encounter.
And we'll touch on practical usage tips too, right? Maintenance,
Mhm.
common issues, basically getting you hitting the ground running.
Exactly. Maximize that treasure hunting success. We've sifted through, manuals, forums, expert reviews, real-world stories.
Noise.
Yeah, trying to distill the most important nuggets for you. Think of this as your personal guide to becoming a really well-informed Equinox 800 operator.
Okay. So we'll explore its core tech, that multi-IQ thing everyone talks about.
Definitely. And what all those numbers and modes actually mean and how to get the best performance, whether you're after, say, ancient relics or maybe those tiny gold nuggets.
All right, let's start right at the beginning then. You've got the box. What's actually inside and, how do we put this thing together?
Okay, contents first. You'll have the detector itself, obviously, with the standard EQX11 double D smart coil.
That's the main round bit at the bottom.
Yep, and its skid plate, which protects it. Then the armrest and strap, the USB charging cable, the one with the magnetic connector, which is pretty neat. You get a pack of screen protectors, too, multi-language ones. And specifically for the 800, you get the ML80 wireless headphones and the WM08 wireless audio module.
So wireless audio right out of the box for the 800.
Nice.
Yeah. Assembly. Is it complicated?
Not really. It's pretty straightforward. Attaching the coil to the lower shaft involves some washers, a bolt, and a nut. The key thing here really is do not over-tighten that nut. Just snug is fine.
Right. Good tip. Over-tightening can cause issues.
Yeah, it can potentially warp things or make the coil angle hard to adjust later. Then assembling the shafts, you just loosen the twist locks, press a spring pin, slide them together, tighten the twist locks. Simple.
Okay. And the armrest?
Position it just below your elbow, line up the hole, screw it on carefully, thread the strap through. Definitely use the strap. It helps with fatigue.
Makes sense. Keeps it snug on your arm.
Exactly. Finally, connecting the coil cable, wrap it kind of neatly around the shafts, take up the slack, use the Velcro tags to secure it. This stops it flapping about and causing false signals.
Ah, okay. So it's not just about looking tidy.
No, it definitely helps performance. Then align the connector, tighten the retaining ring. Done.
All right. Assembled. What about power? It's got an internal battery, right?
Yep, internal lithium ion. Gives you roughly 12 hours of runtime, which is pretty decent.
How do you charge it?
Use that magnetic USB cable. Plugs into any standard USB-A port, like a phone charger brick or computer. Connects to the back of the control unit. There's a green LED that flashes while charging, stays solid when full.
How long does a full charge take?
About 4 hours from flat. If you use a good high-capacity charger, like one rated over 1.7 amps, if you charge while the detector's on, it'll take longer, obviously.
And battery care. Anything special?
Just the usual Leon advice. To keep it healthy, if you're not using it for a few months, make sure to fully charge it every 3-4 months or so. Prevents degradation.
Can you replace it yourself if it eventually wears out?
No, it's not user replaceable. You'd need to send it to an authorized service center. But you can use a portable power bank while detecting if you run low.
Oh, handy.
Yeah, just remember, and this is important, you cannot use the detector underwater while charging or connected to a power bank. Water and external power don't mix.
Got it. Okay, here's a neat little hack I heard about. Comes straight from the community. You get that pack of screen protectors, right?
Yeah.
But only one has the menu text in your language.
Right. You end up with a bunch of clear ones you can't really use the text guide on.
Exactly. So what you do is carefully cut off just the black menu section, the text guide part, from the bottom of your preferred language protector.
Ah, I see where this is going.
Stick that little menu strip right above the buttons on the control unit. Then you can use any of the remaining clear screen protectors from any language pack on the screen itself. Saves you buying new packs just for the screen protection.
Clever. That's a good money-saving tip. Okay, so we're assembled, charged up. Let's get you detecting fast. Quick start.
Yes, please.
1, turn it on. Power button on the side. 2, critical first step, noise cancel. Go into the settings menu, find noise cancel, press accept reject. It does an auto noise cancel. It takes about 8 seconds.
Why is that so important?
It listens for electromagnetic interference EMI from things like power lines, phone towers, even other detectors nearby. It finds the quietest channel to operate on. You want to be, say, 15 meters or 45 feet away from other detectors when you do this.
So it cleans up the signal before you even start.
Precisely. Gives the machine clear ears. 3. If you still hear excessive ground noise after that, then do a ground balance. We'll talk more about that later. 4. If noise still persists, then you can reduce the sensitivity level a touch.
Okay, so sensitivity is kind of the last resort for noise.
Generally, yes, you want it as high as stable. 5. Begin detecting. Just press the detect mode button to get back to the main screen.
Okay, so we're swinging, but what's actually happening inside this thing? What's the magic? Let's talk about that multi-IQ.
Right, the core technology. The Minelab Equinox 800 is built on Minelab's unique multi-IQ technology. This is the real game changer.
How so?
Okay, think of older detectors. They usually run on a single frequency. You had to choose a low frequency for deep, large targets or a high frequency for small, low conductive targets like tiny gold. You couldn't have both at the same time effectively.
Right, it was always a compromise.
Exactly. Multi-IQ is simultaneous multi-frequency. It transmits and receives on multiple frequencies all at the same time. For the 800, that's 5, 10, 15, 20, and 40 kilohertz concurrently.
Wow. So it's like having 5 detectors in one, all running at once.
That's a great way to put it. It means you get optimal performance across all target types and ground conditions simultaneously. Great depth on silver coins, great sensitivity to tiny gold, and it minimizes ground noise, especially in saltwater. That's huge.
Saltwater beaches are notoriously tough.
Incredibly tough for most detectors. Multi-IQ handles it exceptionally well. It gives you superior depth and much more stable target IDs, even in heavily mineralized ground where single-frequency machines just get overwhelmed or give false signals.
But the 800 does let you choose a single frequency if you want to, right? Why would you?
Good question. Yes, you can select 5, 10, 15, 20, or 40 kilohertz individual OI. Well, look, 95% of the time, multi-IQ is probably the way to go. But for very specific niche situations, maybe you're trying to squeeze the absolute maximum depth on a very large, deep silver hoard, 5 kilohertz might give you a tiny edge. Or maybe you're hunting for extremely fine, shallow gold jewelry. 20 or 40 kilohertz might be slightly more sensitive. It can also sometimes help in really extreme electrical interference situations where even multi-IQ struggles a bit, letting you isolate a quieter frequency. It's about having options for advanced users.
Makes sense. Options are good. So multi-IQ helps it see better. But what about those numbers on the screen? The target ID.
Right, translating what it sees into something useful for you. That's target ID and discrimination. As the coil passes over something, the detector processes the signal and gives it a numerical target ID, from -9 up to 40.
-9 to 40. What do those numbers mean?
Generally, ferrous, stuff, iron, steel, nails falls in the negative range, maybe down to 0. So -9 to 0 is typically iron. Non-ferrous targets the stuff we usually want, like gold, silver, copper, bronze, aluminum. Coins, they range from 1 up to 40.
And is higher always better?
Higher generally means more conductive. So like big silver coins are up near the top end, 35, 40. Small gold or aluminum foil might be down near 1 or 2. The last ID detected stays on screen for about 5 seconds.
And that circular scale around the numbers.
That's the discrimination scale. It's got 50 segments that correspond to those target IDs, grouped into 5 regions. This is where you tell the detector what you want to hear. You can accept certain ID ranges, you'll get a tone, or reject them, meaning the detector stays silent over those targets.
You can filter out pull tabs, for example.
Exactly. Or iron nails. This lets you focus on digging the signals you're interested in and minimize digging trash. And again, multi-IQ really helps here by providing more accurate, stable target IDs, especially in bad ground. Less guessing.
Okay, the classic question now. How deep can this thing really punch?
Ah, yes, the depth question. Everyone wants to know. And the honest answer is, it depends. It's not just one number.
Depends on what?
Several things. Target composition is huge. Highly conductive metals, like silver, generally detect deeper than less conductive ones, like lead, even if they're the same size.
Okay.
Ground mineralization is another big factor. Targets in clean, quiet soil will detect much deeper than the exact same target in heavily mineralized, noisy ground.
So the soil itself fights against the signal.
In a way, yes. Target orientation matters too. A coin lying flat detects deeper than the same coin on its edge. Shape and size also play a role around targets usually detect deeper than long, thin ones, and bigger targets detect deeper than smaller ones. It's physics.
Does the detector give you any clues about depth?
It does. There's a 5-level depth gauge on the screen. It gives you an approximate relative depth. Each segment represents roughly 50 millimeters or 2 inches. But remember, it's a guide, and its accuracy can vary, especially in highly mineralized soil.
Right, it's an estimate, not an exact measurement. Okay, one of the really cool things about the Equinox 800 is how versatile it is. It has these specific modes for different types of hunting. Let's break those down.
Absolutely. The preset detect modes are a major strength. There are 4 main ones: park, field, beach, and gold. And each of those modes has 2 customizable search profiles, Profile 1 and Profile 2.
What's the difference between Profile 1 and 2 generally?
Think of Profile 1 as the general, easier conditions setting. Profile 2 usually bumps up the sensitivity or recovery speed, making it better for more difficult conditions or smaller targets, but it might be a little bit noisier.
Gotcha. So let's start with park mode. Where would I use that?
Pretty much where it sounds: high trash recreational areas, urban parks, schoolyards, playing fields, fairgrounds, places with lots of modern trash but also dropped coins and jewelry.
Okay, and Park 1 versus Park 2.
Park 1 is your go-to for general coin shooting and maybe larger jewelry. It's optimized for modern coins. By default, it actually rejects target ID 1, which is often small aluminum foil. It uses a lower frequency weighted multi-IQ, so it's stable and a great starting point.
And Park 2.
Park 2 is tweaked for finer stuff. Think small jewelry, low conductors. It's better in really high trash density because it accepts all non-ferrous targets by default and has an increased recovery speed. It processes a higher frequency-weighted multi-IQ, more sensitive, potentially a bit chattier.
Where are the hot spots in parks?
Oh, definitely check under benches, around the base of old trees, near playground equipment, and especially areas where crowds gather after festivals or events. Just be aware of that aluminum foil, IDs 1 and 2. Rejecting them helps quiet things down, but you could miss a tiny gold earring, for example. It's a trade-off.
Right. Okay, next up, field mode. Sounds like it's for older sites.
Exactly. Optimized for agricultural areas, open pastures, historical sites where you might find older coins, relics, artifacts.
Field 1.
Field 1 is your general workhorse for fields. It has pretty high trash rejection built in, specifically rejecting IDs 1 and 2 by default. This is really helpful because those IDs often correspond to coke, that's charcoal or carbon from burnt coal, very common on old sites. It uses a lower frequency weighted multi-IQ.
And Field 2. For tougher conditions again.
Yep. Field 2 is better suited for fields with lots of targets and lots of trash mixed together. It's particularly good for finding small hammered coins at depth. It runs a faster recovery speed and uses 50 tones by default, giving you more audio information. Higher frequency weighted multi-IQ here.
Where should you focus in fields?
Research is key. Look for old inhabited sites using old maps or historical texts. Freshly plowed fields are always exciting because they turn things over. That coke we mentioned is a big challenge here, but field mode's default rejection helps manage it.
Okay, let's head to the coast. Beaches, saltwater, wet sand, notoriously difficult. How does the Equinox handle that?
This is where the Equinox, especially with multi-IQ, really shines. It has a dedicated beach mode, specifically engineered to handle saltwater mineralization and varying sand conditions, wet or dry. It uses special ground balancing techniques.
Beach 1 for dry sand.
Beach 1 is primarily for general beach detecting on the dry sand, maybe down to the damp sand line. Good all-around beach setting.
And if I want to get in the water, wading, maybe even shallow diving.
That's Beach 2. It's optimized for surf and underwater detecting. It minimizes saltwater interference even more effectively and handles conductive black sand really well, which can drive other detectors crazy.
Beach hotspots.
Under piers and boardwalks, beside steps leading down to the beach, areas where people swim the most often just past the drop-off in slightly deeper water, shipwreck sites, if you know any. And always hit the beach after big storms. They can strip away sand and reveal deeper layers.
All right, the last mode, gold mode. This sounds very specialized. For actual gold prospecting.
Exactly. It's specifically designed for finding natural gold nuggets in mineralized ground conditions. It operates differently than the other modes, using a continuous audio threshold sound that varies subtly when you hit a target. You really have to listen carefully.
Gold 1 versus gold 2.
Gold 1 is for finding small nuggets in what prospectors call mild ground, less intense mineralization. It defaults to tracking ground balance, which is essential.
In gold 2.
For deeper nuggets in difficult ground, highly mineralized soil, it uses a lower recovery speed, which means you need to swing the coil slowly in this mode to give it time to see those deep, faint signals. It might sound noisier because of the ground, but it's aiming for depth. Track and ground balance is default here too.
Where do you even look for gold nuggets?
Well, you go where gold has been found before. Check old mining areas, tailings piles, old diggings, streams where panning occurs, dry blowing locations, reef mine dumps. Geology research helps too.
What about those hot rocks I hear about? Can they fool the detector?
Oh, absolutely. Hot rocks are rocks with different mineralization than the surrounding ground. They give off a signal that usually give a negative target ID, like iron, but sometimes they can give a low positive ID right in the range where small gold nuggets often fall, like ID 1 or 2.
So in gold mode, you can't always trust the numbers.
Pretty much, because gold nuggets, especially small or oddly shaped ones, can give fluctuating IDs. A valuable nugget might read 1, just like a tiny lead birdshot pellet. That's why experienced nugget hunters using gold mode tend to dig most promising signals. It's more about the sound than the number.
Fascinating. So it requires a different approach. What about this all-metal mode? How does that fit in?
You access that by pressing the horseshoe button. It temporarily disables whatever discrimination pattern you have set. You hear everything: iron, foil, nails, coins, relics, the lot.
Whoa, that sounds noisy.
It can be. It definitely leads to ear fatigue for many people, but
Here's where it gets really interesting for the advanced user.
exactly. Some very experienced detectorists prefer hunting in all metal, especially in certain conditions. Why? Because discrimination, while helpful, can sometimes mask a good target that's right next to jump, or make a very deep, faint signal sound less appealing. By hearing everything, they can use their trained ear to pick out those subtle squeakers or whispers that others might miss.
So it's like taking the training wheels off completely.
That's a good analogy. It's definitely big leagues detecting. Requires a lot of practice and understanding of the machine's sounds.
Okay, beyond just picking a mode, the real power, you're saying, comes from fine-tuning these settings. This is how you tailor the machine to your specific spot, your targets.
Absolutely. Getting these settings dialed in is crucial. It's the difference between a frustrating day and a bag full of fines. Let's start with sensitivity. Range is 1 to 25. Default is usually 20.
What's the goal with sensitivity? Just crank it up?
Not quite. Think of it as the detector's hearing ability. You want it set to the highest stable level for your conditions. Increase it until the detector starts getting chatty, giving false signals, random beeps. Then back it off just 1 or 2 notches until that chatter disappears, but it's still running smoothly.
So find the edge of instability, then step back slightly.
Perfect way to put it. That's the sweet spot. Too high, and noise masks targets. Too low, and you lose depth.
Any recommended starting points?
Yeah, the manual gives some good guidelines. New user, maybe start around 20. Quiet park or field, maybe push it to 22. Trashy park, back to 20. Saltwater beach, often around 20. Gold mode depends, maybe 15, 25. Really experienced users might run 22, 25 often. But if it's really noisy or unstable, don't be afraid to drop it to 15, 18. Indoors, for testing, you might need it way down at 110. Just remember, higher sensitivity also picks up tiny bits of ferrous trash.
Okay, noise cancel. We did that in the quick start. Why do it every time?
Because EMI conditions change. Power lines cycle, mobile phones transmit, other detectors turn on nearby. Running noise cancel, auto is usually fine, manual for tricky spots, finds the quietest operating channel out of 19 available. Do it whenever you start or if you change your operating frequency. Quick and essential.
And ground balance, what's that doing?
This calibrates the detector to ignore the signal coming from the minerals naturally present in the ground itself. Range is -9 to 99. Default is 0 for Parkfield Beach. Getting this right reduces false signals from the ground and improves target ID accuracy and depth.
Should I do it manually?
You can, but tracking ground balance is often recommended, especially in variable ground. It's the default in gold mode for a reason. The detector constantly monitors and adjusts as the ground conditions change while you sweep.
Makes sense. Okay, audio settings. Volume adjust is obvious, 0.25. But what about tone volume? That's an advanced setting.
Right. This lets you set different volume levels for different types of targets based on their tone region. So, for example, in an area littered with iron nails, you could turn the volume for the ferrous tone region way down, say to 5, while keeping the non-ferrous tones loud at 25.
So you still hear the iron, but it's quiet, not blasting your ears while the good signals pop out.
Exactly. Really useful on iron-infested sites. Then there's threshold level.
That's the background hum, right?
Yeah.
Default is 0 in Parkfield Beach, but higher in gold mode.
Correct. The threshold is that constant background sound. In Parkfield Beach, with it at 0, it effectively blanks or goes silent when the coil passes over a rejected target. But in gold mode, or if you set it higher in other modes, it provides a constant hum.
Why would you want that hum?
It's essential for hearing the faintest, deepest targets, especially tiny gold nuggets. A tiny target might not be strong enough to break through silence, but it can cause a subtle change, a waver, or increase in that background hum that a trained ear can pick up. It also helps distinguish desirable targets from undesirable ones based on how they affect the hum.
And you can adjust the pitch of that hum too, threshold pitch.
Yep. Purely personal preference. Find a pitch that's comfortable for you to listen to for hours.
Okay, target tone. This controls how many different sounds you hear. 1, 2, 5, or 50.
Right, one tone. Everything sounds the same. Simple, but very little info. 2 tones. One pitch for iron, another for everything else. Good basic separation. 5 tones. Divides the targets into 5 conductivity groups, each with its own pitch. Gives you more audio feedback.
And 50 tones. That sounds like a symphony.
It kind of is. It provides a continuously variable pitch based on the target's conductivity. Experienced users love this because subtle differences in pitch can help differentiate, say, a gold ring from a pull tab, even if their numerical IDs are very close. It gives the most nuanced audio information. Gold mode is fixed at 1 tone, by the way, relying on threshold changes.
There's also tone break.
Another advanced setting. It lets you manually adjust the point where one tone region ends and the next begins. Useful if you find certain targets, like very low conductive gold or relics, are falling just inside the iron tone range. You can break the tone just above iron to give those low conductors their own distinct non-ferrous sound. Not available in gold mode or 1 tone.
Okay, recovery speed. This sounds important. Range 1 to 8. What's it do?
This alters how quickly the detector resets itself after detecting one target, so it's ready to detect the next one. Think about swinging over 2 coins close together.
Right. If it's too slow, it might just sound like one blurry signal.
Exactly. A higher recovery speed, like 6, 7, 8, gives better target separation in trashy areas. It allows the detector to distinguish between targets that are very close together. It also gives a faster, sharper response on small targets.
That's the downside of high recovery speed.
Generally, slightly reduced depth compared to lower speeds. A lower recovery speed, like 1, 2, 3, allows the signal to process longer, which can help eke out a bit more depth on targets in cleaner ground, but it will struggle in dense trash. You'll get masking.
So, higher speed for trash, lower speed for depth.
That's the general principle. The defaults are pretty good starting points. Park 1 and Field 1 use 3, balanced. Park 2 and Field 2 use 6, better separation. Beach modes use 6, Gold 1 uses 6, but Gold 2 uses 4, slower for depth and difficult ground.
Okay, last big setting. Iron bias. Advanced again, range 0 to 9. What is this influencing?
This one's interesting and only works in multi-frequency modes. It adjusts how likely the detector is to classify a target as iron if that target gives off both ferrous, iron-like, and non-ferrous good target signals. This happens a lot with rusty iron or oddly shaped targets like bottle caps.
So a higher setting makes it more likely to call those iffy targets iron.
Correct. A higher setting, say 6 to 9, increases the likelihood of classifying these mixed signals as iron. This is useful in areas absolutely carpeted with iron trash, as it helps mask or silence some of that junk, particularly flat iron or crown caps.
But there must be a catch.
There is. The catch is that increasing iron bias can also increase the chance of misclassifying a good non-ferrous target that's near iron or certain awkward-shaped good targets as iron. It increases masking potential.
So what about a lower setting?
A lower setting, say 0.3, allows the natural non-ferrous signal component to dominate. This means you're less likely to misclassify good targets as iron, and it increases sensitivity to things like small gold, especially on beaches. The trade-off. You'll probably dig more large, rusty iron junk that gives off those mixed signals.
So what does this all mean for your actual hunt? Is there a best setting?
You've hit on the crucial trade-off. It really depends. Many experts suggest starting low, maybe 0 or 1, and only increasing it if the false signals from iron become overwhelming in a particular site. Get a feel for the sounds first.
But some people swear by higher settings.
Yes, some users find running it higher, maybe 4 or 5, helps deal with specific falsing issues they encounter regularly, like from certain types of bottle caps or even some coin rings that can give jumpy signals. It's very site and target dependent. It's a setting that really rewards experimentation and knowing your machine.
And the Equinox 800 has that dedicated user profile button on the side.
Yes, yes. That's a fantastic feature exclusive to the 800. It lets you save your entire current setup sensitivity, recovery speed, iron bias, discrimination pattern, audio settings, everything into a custom profile. You can then recall it instantly with that button press.
That sounds incredibly useful for switching between, say, a trashy area and a clean patch in the same field.
Exactly. Or maybe switching from coin settings to relic settings mid-hunt. It's invaluable for adapting quickly without fiddling through menus.
Okay, we've got the machine assembled, charged, settings are dialed in, or at least we know what they do now. How do we actually swing this thing properly? And pinpointing, how do we zero in before digging?
Right. Technique is key for consistency and getting the most out of the detector. First, holding it. Arm through the armrest, use the strap, grasp the handle comfortably. Your forearm rests in the armrest, elbow just above the back. It should feel balanced, like an extension of your arm.
Not straining your wrist or shoulder.
Exactly. Adjust the shaft length so the coil naturally sweeps about an inch, maybe 25 millimeters, above the ground when you're standing comfortably. You shouldn't be stooping way over or stretching. The coil shouldn't be too far out or too close to your feet.
And the coil angle. Does it matter?
Critically important, you want it parallel to the ground throughout your swing. Loosen the yoke nut bolt, gently press the coil flat on the ground, then tighten the nut just enough to hold it. When you lift it to sweep height, it should remain parallel.
Okay, ready to sweep. How fast? How wide?
Remember, the Equinox is a motion detector. The coil has to be moving. Sweep side to side in a comfortable arc in front of you. Walk forward slowly at the end of each sweep, overlapping the previous sweep path slightly, maybe by half the coil's width, to ensure you don't miss anything between sweeps.
What's a good speed?
A moderate, consistent speed. Think about 2 to 3 seconds for a full sweep from, say, right to left and back to right again. Keep that coil close and parallel to the ground that maximizes depth and sensitivity, especially for small stuff. Avoid lifting it at the ends of your swing and try not to bang or jolt it. Smooth and steady wins the race.
Got it. Then you hear it, that sweet, repeatable signal. How do you pinpoint it accurately so you're not digging a massive crater?
Pinpointing is essential for clean recovery. The standard EQX11 coil and the other Minelab DD coils are double D designs. The most sensitive detection area for pinpointing isn't the dead center, but rather along the central line created by the overlapping parts of the D windings, running from the toe to the heel of the coil.
So it's like a narrow strip down the middle.
Exactly. That's where you'll get the loudest, sharpest signal. To pinpoint manually, sweep slowly over the target location from one direction, listening for the peak signal. Mark a line on the ground with your boot or digging tool. Then turn 90 degrees and sweep across the target again, listening for the peak signal. Mark a second line. Where the two lines cross, X marks the spot.
Makes sense. Crosshair method. But the Equinox has a built-in pinpoint function, right?
It does, and it's very good. Press the white pinpoint button, the one with the crosshair icon. A couple of things happen. It activates a visual target strength indicator on the discrimination scale segments fill in from the outside towards the center as you get closer.
Oh, like a homing beacon.
Kind of. It also temporarily disables discrimination, so you hear everything under the coil, and disables the motion requirement, meaning you can hear the signal even if you hold the coil perfectly still over the target. As you hold it over the target, the detector automatically reduces sensitivity progressively, which helps you narrow down the exact spot of the loudest sound. Move the coil slowly side to side and front to back over the spot until you find the loudest, crispest point. That's your target center.
That sounds much more precise.
It really helps, especially for deeper targets. Practice with it on a coin on the surface. You'll get the hang of it quickly.
Okay, signal acquired, pinpointed perfectly. Now, the moment of truth. Digging it up. How do we do this cleanly, without damaging the find, and crucially, without leaving a mess?
Responsible recovery. It's non-negotiable for the good of the hobby. First, choose the right digging tools for the ground you're in.
What do you recommend?
In parks or lawns, a good serrated digging knife or a small hand trowel for cutting neat plugs is essential. Maybe a small, strong spade if you anticipate deep targets. In fields, especially with dense or rocky soil, a sturdy spade is often needed. On the beach, a plastic sand scoop is great for sifting. If you're wading, a long-handled metal or plastic scoop saves your back. For gold prospecting, a small pick to break up hard ground, and always use a plastic scoop to check the soil. Metal tools can scratch soft gold. Always buy quality tools designed for detecting.
Okay, got the tools. What's the digging process?
First, maybe take off rings or watches on your digging hand. They can set off the detector or pinpointer. Clear any loose leaves or debris from the pinpointed spot. Recheck the signal with your detector or a handheld pinpointer. If the signal's gone, the target was right on the surface.
Nice when that happens.
It is. If the signal's still there, use your sharp tool to cut a neat plug, usually 3 sides of a square or a circle. Carefully lift the plug, trying to keep the grass roots intact, and flip it over gently beside the hole like opening a flap. Leave it attached if possible, like a hinge.
Okay, plug out. Now what?
Check the hole visually and with your pinpointer. If the target isn't in the hole, check the plug itself. If it's still not obvious, you can place your detector coil flat on the ground next to the hole and pass handfuls of soil from the hole over the coil until you get a signal. Once found, carefully retrieve it. Check the hole again quickly for any other targets nearby.
And then, the most important step.
Absolutely. Always, always, always refill your hole. Put all the soil back in. Replace the plug neatly, grass side up. Tamp it down gently with your foot so it's level. Make it look like you were never there. And crucially, pack out all trash you dig yours and any other trash you find. Leave the place cleaner than you found it.
Seriously, this is critical, right? For keeping permissions and access open.
It cannot be stressed enough. So many fantastic detecting spots have been closed down permanently because a few detectorists left open holes or trash. It gives the whole hobby a bad name. Fill your holes every single time. It's the #1 rule of the metal detecting code of ethics.
Okay, message received loud and clear. Now, the Equinox 800 is great out of the box, but accessories can sometimes take things to the next level. What are some key ones people consider?
Definitely. Accessories can tailor the machine even more or improve comfort. Let's start with coils. The stock EQX11 is a great all-rounder, but 2 others are very popular.
Which ones?
The EQX06, the 6-inch round double D coil. This little guy is a must-have for hunting in really trashy areas like old parks or house sites. Its small size gives it phenomenal target separation. It can pick out good targets masked by iron that the larger coil might miss. People literally go back to hunted out sites with the 6-inch and pull out amazing finds.
So a small coil for trash.
Exactly. Then there's the other end, the EQX15, the big 15 by 12-inch double D. This one is for maximum ground coverage and depth. Great for open fields, beaches, searching large areas quickly, or trying to punch down deep for caches or large relics.
Any downsides to the big coil?
Weight. It's noticeably heavier than the stock coil, especially if it gets wet sand stuck to it on the beach. Some people use a counterbalance weight on the end of the shaft or even a detector harness or bungee support to make swinging it more comfortable over long periods. All the Minelab accessory coils are waterproof and come with a skid plate, by the way.
Good to know.
Yep.
What about headphones? The 800 comes with wireless, but are there other options?
Right, the included ML80s are wireless and work great on land. But if you plan on putting the detector underwater, even just wading deep, you need wired, waterproof headphones. The wireless signal doesn't travel through water. Minelab makes dedicated waterproof headphones for this.
Any third-party options?
Yes. Companies like Detector Pro make excellent underwater headphones, like their Gray Ghost Underwater Amphibian II. They're designed for both land and water use, often have better sound quality and noise isolation, and are rated for deeper submersion, like 30 feet, compared to the Equinox's 10-foot rating.
Okay. What about the shaft itself? I've seen people using custom ones.
Yeah, aftermarket shafts are popular. Companies like Steve Detector Rods make custom carbon fiber shafts. They're lighter than stock, which helps with shoulder or elbow fatigue, especially if you use a larger coil. You can often get them in custom lengths if you're very tall or short, sometimes in cool colors, and they often use marine-grade stainless steel fittings which resist corrosion better for beach hunting.
Are there collapsible options too for travel?
Yes, there are fold-and-go kits available. These replace the standard shaft with a collapsible one, making the detector incredibly compact for packing into a backpack or small car. Great for hikers, travelers, or relic hunters who trek into remote sites.
And you mentioned a bungee.
Yeah, things like the Quiggle Double Adjustment Point Bungee. It's a simple strap system that clips to your detector and goes over your shoulder. It helps take some of the weight off your swinging arm and elbow. Takes a bit of adjustment to get it right for your swing style, but it can significantly reduce fatigue during long hunts.
Little things add up, charging accessories.
Minelab offers things like a 2-way USB car charger and a 4-way universal AC charger if you need more charging options. And don't forget that WM08 wireless audio module that came with the 800. It uses Minelab's low-latency Y-Stream tech for really fast, clear audio moderate. The delay is practically imperceptible, like 17 meters. It's only water-resistant, though, not fully waterproof like the detector itself. Keep that in mind near water.
Okay, no machine is perfect. Sometimes things go wrong. What are some of the common issues or snags Equinox 800 users have occasionally run into? Just a heads up for new owners.
Right, it's good to be aware. Nothing major is widespread, but a few things pop up in forums. Some early users reported screens fading out after some use. Minelab seemed pretty good about replacing those under warranty.
What else?
The fact the battery isn't user replaceable is a point some people mention. You need to go through a service center when it eventually wears out, though they seem to last a long time. Also, there's no physical printed manual or DVD in the box. You have to download the PDF instructions, which annoys some folks.
I heard about some control pods cracking or flooding. Is that common?
There were some reports, particularly earlier on, leading to warranty replacements. Doesn't seem to be a massive issue now, but something to be mindful of. Treat the machine well, don't abuse it. A more common practical issue is water and sand getting packed inside the hollow shaft sections, especially if you hunt in the water a lot. It can add significant weight.
Ah, okay. That's where those aftermarket shafts with drain holes help.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They help mitigate that buildup. Okay, troubleshooting quick tips. Detector won't turn on or turns off immediately.
Check the charge first.
Yep. Make sure the battery is charged. If it turns on while plugged in but dies instantly when unplugged, the battery might need replacing via a service center.
What about erratic noises, constant falsing?
First, move away from potential EMI sources, power lines, electric fences, other detectors. Second, run auto noise cancel. Third, try a ground balance. Fourth, if it's still noisy, then reduce sensitivity slightly.
No sound at all. Through headphones.
Check the obvious. Volume level on the detector and on the headphones if they have their own volume. Make sure wire headphones are plugged in securely. If wireless, ensure the headphones and the WM08 module are charged and paired correctly. If you've been near water, carefully check the headphone jack on the control unit for water or debris, gently dry it out.
What if the ML80 wireless headphones just won't pair?
Try powering both the detector and headphones off, then on again. Make sure they're close together within 1 meter during pairing. Move away from other potential wireless interference like mobile phones. As a last resort, you can try a factory reset on the headphones themselves. Check the manual for how.
Shaft twist locks get stuck with sand.
Yeah, that happens. Separate the shaft sections if you can. Try twisting the lock back and forth gently to work the grit out. Rinse thoroughly with clean fresh water. Don't force it too hard.
Any specific error codes to know?
Or coil disconnected usually means check the coil cable connection is tight and the cable isn't damaged. Try cleaning the contacts. If it persists, try another coil if you have one to isolate the problem. BF means battery flat recharge. If it shows immediately after charging, contact service. Or system error, try restarting the detector. Check the coil connection again. Try factory reset. Settings reset. If it keeps happening, contact service.
Okay. Beyond fixing problems, how about preventing them? General maintenance and care.
Pretty simple, really. Clean the detector after use, especially after beach hunting, with a damp cloth and maybe a tiny bit of mild soap. Rinse well with fresh water if it got sandy or salty. Do not use harsh solvents or petroleum-based grease on any parts, especially O-rings.
Temperature extremes.
Avoid them. Don't leave it cooking in a hot car trunk in summer or freezing in winter. Store it within the recommended temperature range, -20 degrees C to +50 degrees C, or -4 degrees Abbott to +122 degrees F.
Water exposure care.
If you submerge it or get it really wet, always rinse thoroughly with fresh water afterwards to remove salt, sand, and minerals. Pay attention to that headphone socket if water gets in. Dry it carefully, maybe with a hairdryer on a low, warm setting, to prevent corrosion, which can cause audio issues.
Shafts and screen.
Keep sand and grit out of the shafts and twist locks as much as possible. Wipe them down if they get muddy. Protect the display screen from scratches during transport and storage. Use those screen protectors.
Charging recommendations. Anything specific?
Use good quality certified USB chargers. Minelab recommends ones with at least 2 amps at 5 volts output for the best charging speed and safety. Think reputable brands like Apple, Samsung, Anker, or Minelab's own accessory chargers. Avoid those super cheap, uncertified chargers. They can sometimes overheat or underperform.
And software updates.
Yes, the Equinox 800's firmware can be updated. You connect it to a computer via USB and use Minelab's Exchange 2 software, available for Windows and Mac. It's worth checking periodically for updates, as they can sometimes add new features or improve performance.
Okay, we've covered a ton of ground, from unboxing to troubleshooting. This machine clearly has a lot going on. What are the key takeaways, the sort of guiding principles for someone wanting to get really good with their Equinox 800?
The absolute #1 thing is learn the machine. Spend time with it. Don't expect to master it in one outing. Many users report that maybe the first few trips are a bit frustrating, but once they put in the hours, maybe 50 or 100 hours of swinging time, it clicks. They start understanding the sounds, the IDs, how it reacts in different soils. Users who really know it call it a weapon with the right settings and coil. Dedication pays off.
So patience and practice are key. not just relying on presets.
Exactly. And related to that is, trust the machine, especially its discrimination capabilities once you understand them. One experienced user shared a story. They always double-checked iffy signals by switching to settings with zero iron bias. After doing this for ages, they realized that not once had they found a worthwhile target that their normal settings, with some iron bias, had initially rejected. It proved to them that the machine's discrimination, when set appropriately for the site, was actually very effective at filtering junk without losing good stuff.
That's confidence-inspiring. Don't second-guess it too much once you've learned it.
Right. Trust your settings, trust the sounds you've learned. Now for gold hunting, a few specific things. In gold mode, you often get loud, screaming signals even on tiny gold flakes. Because the target IDs can be unreliable for small or oddly shaped nuggets, often reading like lead shot, you really do need to dig most promising signals.
So more digging in gold mode.
Generally, yes. Also, don't assume gold is always deep. A lot of valuable small gold is found very shallow, sometimes just under the surface litter. Scraping the top few inches carefully can be very productive. Keep sensitivity reasonable, maybe 14-15 as a start, and always have tracking ground balance turned on. And a final gold tip, always check the dirt you dig out. The muck on your scoop or pile tiny gold pieces can easily stick to clumps of dirt.
Good practical advice. And the big one we keep coming back to.
Fill your holes. Seriously, it's worth repeating. Every source, every forum, every experienced detectorist emphasizes this. It's fundamental to responsible detecting. It keeps sites open for everyone. Leave no trace.
Looking back, the Equinox 800 really made waves when it came out. How does it stack up now with newer machines on the market?
It's still a very strong contender. Yes, detectors like the XTDS2 have come out since, offering things like a fully wireless design, no wire to the coil, even more simultaneous frequencies, deeper waterproofing ratings, maybe longer battery life, and longer warranties. But the Equinox 800 remains highly competitive, especially for its price point. It's praised for its proven performance, particularly its incredible stability and depth on saltwater beaches. Many still say it's one of the best beach machines ever made, running quiet as a mouse, even in tough black sand where others falter. Its multi-IQ technology really did set a new benchmark.
So still a fantastic value and a top performer.
Absolutely. It's a professional-grade machine that has found and continues to find amazing things all over the world.
So there you have it, our deep dive into the Minelab Equinox 800. We've gone from cracking open the box, putting it together, understanding that core multi-IQ tech,
to mastering the different modes for parks, fields, beaches, gold fields, fine-tuning all those settings like sensitivity, recovery speed, iron bias,
and covering proper swing technique, pinpointing, and maybe most importantly, responsible digging and recovery.
It really is an incredibly versatile and powerful tool. It excels in so many different environments. With the knowledge we've shared today and just getting out there and putting in the time, you really can start uncovering objects that others might have walked right over.
Whether you're after deep old coins, those tiny elusive gold flakes, or maybe some cool historical relics, the Equinox 800, with its smarts and adaptability, is definitely ready to be your partner in discovery.
So as you head out on your own detecting adventures, maybe just think about this. What unexpected piece of history, what glint of silver or gold might be lying just inches beneath your feet right now, just waiting for you and your Equinox to bring it back into the light? The knowledge is yours now. Go find out.